Thanks to MobilePixel for sponsoring this video. MobilePixel sent me the DueX Plus to share with you guys. It's an extendable screen that is placed to the back of your laptop. If you're on the go and you need the luxury of multiple monitors, the DueX Plus is easy to install and easier to use. I use it when I need to get away from my desk and I want to work on scripts for videos. Or, if you're like me and you play Dungeons & Dragons, you can flip the screen to show your players the information they need while keeping the secrets on the front screen. It's nice and portable and will slide into your backpack, and you can do your work while out for coffee with your granny because you wanted to get her out of the house and show her around. But that's not all. The DueX Plus works with Android devices, using your phone as a touchpad. It's honestly very nifty and versatile. This is a product I would recommend, and if you want to get one yourself, follow the link in the description or in the comment section below. By popular demand, I have come to grace you with another video on Descendants. And by that, I mean I'm making this video months in advance to release on Patreon, and also to prepare for the holiday season. It was a popular demand by me. I demanded it. One thing I did forget to mention in the last video is that you really gotta hand it to them for making these kind of movies on a small budget. And you can say that about any Disney Channel movie. I just got the feeling that the first Descendants movie was working in a tighter constraints just because all the sets were very small. And you can clearly tell when they green screen a bunch of people into places in order to save money on location, or even just the fact that they said, hey, magic isn't a thing anymore, so we can save on special effects. And even then, the special effects they did have was very tame. There was only really two big sets I can think of, with the beginning with the island and the ending with the coronation. I couldn't find the specific budget for that movie in particular, and we all know the budget for these steadily get bigger over time as it gets more popular. I saw in an interview where they mentioned that the budget for the third movie is like $15 million. And that's the kind of budget you see with either like horror movies or low budget comedies like Legally Blonde. So you know that can't be the budget they were working with in the first movie. But with the second movie, I have heard varying things about it. I've been told by some that it's their favorite, and I've read online by others that it's the worst. And in this video, I want to pick a side. Let's see how good or bad this movie really is. The movie starts with the main crew making poison apples? And Carlos changed his hair? And they still want to be evil? And Carlos changed his hair? And straight from the get-go, you see the increased budget. Look at all this. There's way more sets in just the first 5 minutes. And we start the movie off with another banger. These songs are actually so good, I would legitimately consider buying them. But hold on, that was actually all just a vision from a blonde Mal. I know I mentioned Legally Blonde, but I didn't think this would happen. Maleficent is still small, and now Mal has to deal with being a king's girlfriend. They're trying to abide by the whole no magic thing, but Mal is afraid to get rid of her spell book since she relies on it so much.
You don't ever miss running wild and just breaking all the rules?
I'm sorry? Excuse you? You guys gotta be kidding me. I mean, yes, the whole point of this series is that these characters are supposed to be the children of big Disney villains. But Mal had this big character arc in the first movie to where she didn't want to be evil anymore. That was the epicenter of the entire movie, the entire message, everything around the movie. And we're 7 minutes into this new movie and they're already going back on that? I mean, I guess it's not all that bad. I mean, she's not used to being all prim and proper. She's out of her element. She has a bunch of responsibilities suddenly placed on her that she needs to keep up with appearance, and so much so that she's even changed her hair in order to fit in better, and she's being pushed to give up her personal belongings like her spell book. I mean, you know what? This makes perfect sense. Okay, I changed my mind. Let's keep going. The Catillion is coming up, and now, so we have the wonderful high school dance trope that's typical in every one of these kinds of movies. But it's more like getting married? And Mal didn't actually know it's like a sort of kind of engagement thing, and so now she's really scared. Okay, now if there were any reason for Mal to backpedal on her character development, this is it. At least have her decide to break up with Ben. Not really marriage, I mean, but it's basically an engagement. But not, and it's confusing, but confusing is what makes it more scary. I honestly feel like they're setting this all up well. And look at this! We got a B-plot of Carlos needing to figure out who he's going to ask out, but more importantly, these sets, these costumes are better. All of this choreography, they really upped their game. And listen, Carlos is amazing. I love him, but I really just don't have that much of an interest in this subplot. Is it funny how every time he tries to ask out his crush, she misinterprets his intentions and deflects? Sort of, but it feels like they're trying really hard to make it feel more high school slice of life when I came here for not that.
Hi. Just came to use your 3D printer. Won't be a sec. Oh, I printed it off last time. I was in out.
Do you see what I mean? The flow of the story does feel better constructed in the beginning. With the first movie, it was very predictable. At least adding a B-plot allows us as viewers to not get bored if the main plot doesn't quite pique our interest. I understand the value of having two plots, and I'm hoping that eventually this B-plot ties in with the main plot in order to justify its existence, and if that happens, we are all good. Mal gives Carlos a truth gummy so he can— oh, whoops, never mind.
And while you're at it, scratch my butt.
You heard him. Scratch his butt.
But don't worry, trouble is brewing on the island of villainy. Ursula's daughter and Captain Hook's son are angry at Mal for turning over a new leaf.
Look, we have her turf now.
Harry, that's her turf now. And I want it too. What's my name? What's my name?
Whoa, let's pause there. I can sense a song coming on. I'm not having this video get copyright claimed. Speaking of which, these songs are so much better in this movie. My goodness, it's got more oomph to it. It's more sassy, more empowering. I love it. Also, quick thing, Captain Hook's son also has a hook. Now, bear with me. Let's take a second and think about that. Because that means the son had to also have had his hand bitten off. And we both know he didn't just inherit Hook genes. Okay, well, I mean, like, he did, but you know what I mean. I want to know what he was doing in order to get his hand cut off too. Does stupid run in the family?
We don't get much time to be just us anymore.
I can grab them.
What's this? Blonde hair spell. Cooking spell.
And I was giving you props for fitting in so well, for doing your best.
Take back this moment that has passed.
Are you trying to spell me right now?
It has been so
Yeah,
hard for
some
me.
things are hard. I thought we were doing this together.
Ben, we are in this together.
But we're not, Mal.
And since she doesn't feel like she belongs, and because of the guilt of lying to her boyfriend, she runs away back to the island. Okay, I can see it. It's not that they didn't like being evil, they just didn't like their parents. And now Mal went from being a big fish in a small pond to a little fish in an ocean. Okay, well, I mean, she's going to marry a king, so that's not really small, a small fish, but yeah, you know what I mean. Hopefully, I don't know anymore. She's out of her element. This going back to the Isle is like comfort food for her. She'll do some evil, then maybe learn that she can be who she is and still be in a relationship with Ben, and it'll all work out. Hopefully?
This is my fault. This is my fault.
You know, yeah, you're right. This is your fault. I can't really blame you since Mal should have been more honest with you in the beginning. It's both your faults. And Mal does what any alternative emotionally turbulent girl does and dyes her hair to rediscover herself. So Ben and the gang make their way to the island to get Mal back.
Ben, stop.
man.
Just stop.
Keep your hands in your pockets unless you're stealing. You either slouch or strut.
And never, ever smile.
Thanks.
No thank yous. And drop the please, too. Just
Chill.
Whoa! Huh, man, that was a close one. I didn't think they'd have a song here. And while this song plays out, there's one thing that I have a hard time swallowing. Yes, Mal feels out of place, but the Isle is more like a slum, and she wants to go from royalty back to that? Why?
Oh, you're King Ben!
I don't
Yeah,
think
you
so.
You are King Ben, and oh, who's gonna love this?
So Ben finds Mal and tries to convince her to come back.
And if you think that I can change, I think you're wrong.
But I'll change. I'll...
No, you doofuses. You work on yourselves until you're someone who's worthy of being loved, and neither of you change. You accept each other for who they are and make it work. Gah! Mal says no, because we still have half the movie to get through.
Ben, don't scare us like that.
Don't scare you.
What did you do with Ben?
Oh, and we nicked him. Mal, come to the chip shop tonight. Alone.
So now they gotta get Mal to help get Ben back. Now the king is the damsel in distress. Way to reverse gender roles. Mal goes to talk to Uma, and she challenges her to an arm wrestle? Well, first of all, that's kind of dumb. And second, their technique is way off. You gotta keep your shoulder and your hand aligned so you use your arm and not your wrist, and also don't break your arm, but you twist your wrist down so you make your opponent uncomfortable, giving you an advantage.
If I win, you bring me the wand.
The wand again? Really? Why does she want it? Their plan is to 3D print the wand to give to her, but then...
Why are you guys making Fairy Godmother's wand?
Why are we making Fairy Godmother's wand?
Ben's been captured.
What?
Well, at least now we can say the dog had some importance to the plot. Also, Mulan's daughter overheard, so now she's off to do something. And then Mal and Evie have a big goodbye song, which I feel probably should have been between Mal and Ben, but it's very touching. I mean, friendship is just as important. I mean, don't forget that, folks. And then Lonnie, Mulan's daughter, says, "Hey, I'm coming with you." And Carlos and JR are all like, what? Guys, really? This shouldn't even be a second thought. You know there is trouble brewing. And the daughter of a war hero is literally asking if she can help you, telling you she's gonna help you. And you have to think about this?
I get that you don't deserve this.
This island is a prison, thanks to your father. And don't pretend to look out for me, because no one's looking out for me.
Wait, Ben is the one who wanted to reform the island. That was his whole agenda in the first movie. Why hasn't he brought in more children of villains to Auradon? Did he just give up after the raging success of the first batch of kids?
I never thought of it like that before. That I could have hurt the people I didn't pick. I'm so sorry. Come to Auradon and be part of the solution.
Me? Part of your solution. I don't need you. I'm gonna get there on my own.
You're gonna get there on your own? And how do you plan to do that? You can't even get off the island. I feel like you're not seeing a golden opportunity placed right in front of you. I guess some people's egos are always more important than their lifelong stability. Oh, wait. That's what the wand is for. It's so she can get off the island. Man, I'm stupid. Also, dude snuck onto the island with them. And we all know that before anything can progress between two rival groups, they gotta have a song and dance battle. Real gangs do this in real life. Right? West Side Story was a documentary, right?
Too easy. Why don't you give it a test drive? We want to see it work.
Okay. Although it seems absurd, turn your bark into a word.
Does this vest make me look fat?
Okay. Okay. The dog has been helpful to the plot twice now. talking dog trope gets a pass from me. Wait a minute, the B-plot actually kind of faded away, didn't it? I actually thought they set up this movie like it was a regular TV show, given how the beginning went. I mean, good on them. I totally forgot about that. It's all been justified in the end, wow. The ruse is successful and they get Ben back. But Uma figures out the wand is fake and now they gotta make a speedy getaway. Good thing Carlos packed his turbo action slingshot. Also, Lonnie is there helping, don't forget about her. Wait a minute, the hook was fake this entire time? Does he pretend to have had his hand cut off to seem tougher? Or to pretend he's like his father? Either way, it's weird. They manage to get away and make it to the car with the conveniently connected Mario tube. But Mal forgets her spell book.
I mean, at least I got to see the Isle. They're my people too.
Ben, Uma captured you.
She's an angry girl with a bad plan. It's not so different from you when you came to Oridon, Mal.
Oh yeah, remember that cotillion that was gonna happen? Now she needs to make her decision about what she's going to do because it's happening soon.
Everybody wants me to be this lady of the court, and I have no idea how to keep up the act.
Then don't.
Thank you, Carlos. Once again, he proves to be the best character.
If Ben isn't smart enough to love you and you can't stand another day, I'll drive you back tomorrow myself.
Also, Carlos asks out his crush. Go him, he deserves to be happy. The day of the cotillion comes and it's on a boat. Gosh, I sure hope there isn't a previously established villain that just so happens to have a vendetta and is very familiar with boats. Mal decides to go to the cotillion, but so did Uma? And also Ben is going to be with her now? Gosh, who could have expected this? And they reveal a stained glass present that Ben had commissioned, showing Mal how she truly is. And Mal realizes that Ben loves her for who she is, and wouldn't have it changed, even in official royal artwork. And when Ben tells them that he plans to take down the barrier on the Isle, they start realizing that maybe he's been put under a spell by Uma?
Ben, I never told you that I loved you because I thought that I wasn't good enough. And I thought that it was only a matter of time before you realized that yourself. But Ben, that's me. And Ben, you've always known who we were and who we can be. Of course, I love you. Ben, I've always loved you.
Oh no! Not again! My heart can only handle so much. Where's my doctor? Now that the spell is broken and Uma has her back against a wall, she jumps into the water and transforms into a big ol' sea monster. Look at that! We went from badly made CGI royalty to sea monsters. Upgrades, people! That's Disney money! Mal transforms into a dragon, like mother, like daughter, and she fights Uma. But she's a fire type, and Uma is a water type, so it's a bad matchup for her since fire is 2 times weak to water. She really should have brought out an electric type or a grass type. And Ben decides to join the fray as well, but he doesn't really do anything. He just swims between them and starts trying to talk some sense into them. And Uma gives back his ring and goes home, I guess. Well, you gotta admit, Ben won this fight. I guess water is weak to heart-filled speeches. Mal transforms into herself, but now with a dress more fitting to who she really is.
This seems like the kind of thing that belongs in the hands of Fairy Godmother. Fairy Godmother?
Okay, that's me. Thank you.
And one more song and dance number to wrap up the whole story. Less of a lively party and more of a self-growth and acceptance kind of song. Very fitting for the message of the movie. Wow, that ending sucked. Okay, it didn't suck, but it was meh. Ben just talking to Uma, and then Uma just leaving, especially after he already had that sort of conversation with her before. This just seemed redundant. Oh, so now he's able to get through to her? Oh, sure. I was expecting a big climactic finish. I mean, we had a dragon and a big sea monster. I mean, like, come on, that's a good combo for a big fight. But this ending felt more like a whimper. That being said, I loved this movie. And I do have a bias because I love pirate history and the romanticized pirate fantasy. So just them having pirates of any kind in here just immediately made it more appealing for me. I still feel like this movie was just better constructed and better delivered than the first one in basically every aspect. More importantly, the acting improved. I didn't want to say anything in the first one because I felt a little bad, but the actor who plays Ben was very stiff in the first one, very uncomfortable and reserved and quiet, and I'm like, it just felt awkward the entirety of the first movie. In this one, it was clear he had more range, felt more comfortable. Everything about his performance improved. And I was really surprised how the subplots, which, you know, ended up not really being subplots, all came together in the end, like with Lonnie and Dude the dog. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how there are people online who say they dislike the second movie. In literally every aspect, except for the ending, it was an improvement over the first. People like to say that Shrek 2 is the perfect sequel, which it is. But I think Disney Descendants 2 is also a strong contender for a perfect sequel. Maybe not perfect. I mean, perfect is like a strong word. Really good sequel. And I really appreciate how they delivered on the message about Ben and Mal's relationship in the very end. Because at least in my experience, that's how relationships should be approached. And they touched base with Ben's original motive in the first movie, which I fully expected them to forget and then throw away. Even from a writing perspective, this movie did what it was supposed to. I still wish they had a better explanation as to why magic isn't a thing anymore in their world, but it's fine. I guess I can look past that. And now that I'm this far with consuming Disney Descendants, and now that I'm this far with consuming the Disney Descendants franchise, I understand how some of you have been saying that comparing this to Ever After High isn't quite a fair comparison, since Descendants is set up to be a little more cheesy and lighthearted, and don't get me wrong, I was fully aware of that when making that comparison. I was mostly talking about it from a business lens when I made my Ever After High video, and ever since then, since that video did so successfully, I just kept rolling with the joke, because it works with a lot of the videos that I make, and I like to bring up Ever After High, because I love it and I want more people to watch it. But it is not wrong of you to enjoy both, if that is for some reason what you were thinking. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna jam to some of these songs.